Hey, it's Jay, and it's time to jabber. Hello to you, and welcome to this week's episode. This week I'm going to talk about same sex marriage, or as I like to call it, marriage. Today, right at this moment, people all over Ireland are going into booths to vote in their referendum. There are lots of little bits to it, but the main crux of it is, should same sex marriage be a thing? It's quite a unique situation in Ireland. Due to their extensive constitution, any changes to the law to this extent have to go to a referendum. They've had various referendums through the years. This is their most current one, and in some ways it's the most controversial. I've been doing a bit of research looking at what's been going on in this campaign, and generally speaking it's been quite a clean campaign as far as political campaigns go. Posters have gone up for the vote yes and the vote no campaign. The vote yes is just basically saying it's about equality, it's about people having the same rights as everyone else. And the vote no campaign is centred really on the family issue. The family unit should be a mother and a father. My view, as stated at the start, is that it's not about same-sex marriage, it's about marriage equality. Interestingly, on a slightly side note, I read up online about something that Peter Tatchell, very famous LGBT activist, has been doing up until recently, and that was the love equality. He was taking it through to the courts where straight couples, heterosexual couples, wanted to get a civil partnership, but they couldn't because civil partnerships are only available to homosexual couples, which in itself is discrimination. Positive discrimination, some would say, but discrimination nonetheless. And he was fighting for the fact that people, anybody, should be able to get a civil partnership, as well as anybody should be able to get a marriage. However, that was thrown out of the biggest court they went to, I can't quite remember which court it was, as irrelevant, which I think is wrong in itself. You know, people who are in love, people who are in a committed relationship, should be able to marry or form a civil partnership. They should have that choice. It shouldn't just be a choice of homosexual couples whether they want to do one or the other. It should be a choice of heterosexual couples as well, and any other sexuality in that, in actual fact. Marriage equality has been developing over the last really 14 years. The first country to legalise gay marriage, or, yeah, I don't like that. The first country to legalise equal marriage, it was the Netherlands, and that was back in 2001. And that was the first country, and it's not that long ago really, 14 years, but that was the first country. Following on from there, we had Belgium in 2003 and some states in the United States in 2003. Now, I could talk about countries generally, but the states, obviously, it's individual states have made that choice, and I'll come back onto that later. But the first state was in 2003. Canada and Spain passed the law in 2005. South Africa in 2006. Argentina, Iceland, Portugal in 2010. Denmark in 2012. Brazil, England and Wales, France, New Zealand and Uruguay in 2013. Scotland and Luxembourg in 2014. And now Ireland has the chance to join the people on this side of history. Because let's not play this down. This period is a huge historical event. These events are huge, hugely significant. When people in 50, 100 years' time look back, they'll be looking back on these countries and going, good on them, I believe. Good on them. They went ahead. They went forward. They didn't stay in a place where certain people were classed as second-class citizens based on their orientation, based on who they fall in love with. Going back to America, as it stands, if I've got my figures correct, and I hope I have, 37 states, 37 out of the 50 states, have equal marriage rights. 13 have a ban. That includes 8 that were going through the process of allowing equal marriage, but there have been appeals against this law, and so those are still going through at the moment. And in Mexico there are 2 other states, I think they're called states in Mexico, that have legalised equal marriage as well. I'm not going to try and pronounce them, but I'm sure you can look it up online. So there's 3 states in Mexico as well. Marriage equality, in my view, isn't going to cause any great problems in the world, isn't going to ruin children's lives, isn't going to suddenly cause damnation on us all. What will happen if this law is passed in Ireland today is that people who love each other can get married. That's it. There's going to be no ugly consequences. There's going to be no consequences other than that. As I said, I've read many views online, the people who are speaking out for and against marriage equality. And the views of the people in the No campaign, I don't hold water with. They don't hold water with me. I don't understand why people do not want that. I don't understand what people have got against people who love each other committing to each other in a marriage. They say it's redefining marriage because marriage is between a man and a woman. But hold on a second, language, because that's what we're talking about really. We're talking about a word, the semantics. Language changes over time. That is what language does. It evolves. Look at the word gay, for example. You go back however many years, it simply meant bright and cheerful. It meant happy. Then it was taken to mean homosexual. Nowadays it's changing again. There is a third meaning of it, and that is rubbish. The youth in society use the word gay as a slur, not because it is meaning homosexual, because they'll say that jumper's so gay. They don't mean only a gay person would wear that jumper, they just mean it's a bit naff, it's a bit rubbish. Words change over time. Words develop over time. Marriage is a word. Marriage is a word. The feelings and the love that are encompassed in that, those are the important things. At the end of the day, why should you vote to deny someone else something that you can do yourself? I don't get that. At the end of the day, in my view, it's simply down to this: kindness. Show it. That's all I'm going to say for this week. If you're in Ireland and you've voted yes, well done you. And if you're in Ireland and you voted no, fair enough. Your views are as valid as anyone else's. I just hope that people at some point in my lifetime are not going to be refused things based on something as small, and it is really small. It's a small aspect of people's lives, but something as small as who they are attracted to. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week. One last thing. Love is love.